Hey guys, welcome to a day in the life video. I'm going to take you guys along on my day as a homeschool slash working mom. I work in many ways. I run this YouTube channel. I have a business where I sell homeschool curriculum. I also do some social media work for a friend's business on the side, and I watch kids before and after school. So it's a lot of hats I wear to make an income so I can homeschool my kids. And normally I do watch kids before and after school. On this particular day it ended up being a snow day. We had a blizzard, so I didn't end up having to have extra kids before and after school, but normally I do, and I had already planned to film this video, so it's not quite a normal day in the life, but our routine remains the exact same regardless. I have 4 kids, 3 daughters and a son. My girls are ages 10, 7, 4, and then my baby is 2.5 months old, and so I am back into the routine of getting up at 4 a.m. I have done that for about 7 years now, since my second daughter was a baby. And I just really like that time. It allows me to get a lot of work done. And then I also get work done in the middle of the day, which you will see. So I get up, I get my coffee right away. That is what gives me stamina and gets me out of bed. And I just enjoy the dark and the quiet in the morning. And I go to my office, I sit down, I do my Bible reading, and I am working through different books of the Bible that my church is going through, so it's kind of like our homework before the church service for that Sunday. And then I'm also filling out my 4th year, I believe, of my line a day 5-year journal. I've been doing that now. I'm on the 4th year, so that's pretty cool to look back on. And then I jump into my work. I'm working on my next resource for my homeschoolglue.com. It's a homeschooling resource. It's not curriculum this time, it is a different resource, but you will see some sneak peeks of that in this video, so stay tuned for that. And then I get ready for the day, and I try to always just look presentable. Just, you never know what the day is going to bring you, and I just feel better about myself and feel like I am more productive if I get ready in the morning. And then it's time to get my little girls up around 6:15, and I help them get dressed and get their clothes down, and then we head down and I work on breakfast. So because I normally watch kids before and after school, I only have a couple minutes by the time I get my kids up to make breakfast. And so on the weekends, we normally prep protein-packed homemade breakfast. So I am just reheating some protein apple muffins that I made a different weekend. So I just pull different things out of the freezer, and that's what we normally have for breakfast. Sometimes I'll add some eggs or sausage, and then we usually have some kind of fruit or yogurt with it. My girls like to have a dance party some mornings. It's always a little chaotic here, but I have been having 1 to 2 slices depending on the size of just homemade sourdough. My husband normally makes sourdough every weekend. And then I mix an avocado with a hard-boiled egg and a little bit of mayo, and then some everything bagel seasoning and salt and pepper, and I just mash that up, and then I toast my toast and add a little butter, and then I put that on top, so I have some good fat, some good bread, and then some protein from the egg. And since I'm nursing, I'm like always hungry, but this usually fills me up for a while, so I really love this breakfast right now. And then we have our little juice that we call it, which is just like some sugar-free lemonade that I put in these little ramekins, and then I add our earthly tincture, the elderberry, because it helps us to not get sick. I have a code in the description if you guys are interested, and that helps us to drink it. And then I just load up the girls' plates, and then it is breakfast time. We try to eat by about 6:45 to 6:55 if possible. We usually listen to an episode of Yodo daily during breakfast on our Yodo that we keep in our dining room. And then I clean up. Usually the kids go play, since there's usually a couple extra kids at our house. And I clean up and set up our homeschool table. I will throw out in some laundry. For example, today it was the towels. We use towels to clean our kitchen, and so I threw those in the wash. I'm always throwing a load in every morning. And then I like to set up our homeschool table. So normally when I have extra kids, the kids just play together while I do this. And this just helps me feel ready for the day before they leave and before our homeschool day begins. I like to just look over our plans and get everything out for all of our family subjects since we do mainly family style learning. And by about 7:40, it's time to get those kids on the bus and it's time to get started. But before that, I will go get my baby up and then I get him dressed and changed and I will nurse him. And then it's time to get an activity bin for my 4-year-old. I have a whole highlight on my Instagram about this. I will link in the description for you, but she usually does a couple different activity bins or different activities during our homeschool time to keep her entertained, and then we're off to the races. We usually start with my oldest doing spelling and a little bit of cursive, and my first grader doing some copy work or handwriting. Sully usually just hangs out right next to me in his little bassinet. He's usually awake, or I do hold him sometimes, but he just pretty much hangs out here for homeschool time. Okay, first grader's now working on copy work for our Bible verse for the week, and my 4th grader just copies it down from up here. So this is copy work. What are you working on?
I'm working on the paper.
You're cutting it out and you're gonna glue it on?
Yeah.
Make cards for people?
And we're just gonna do the strawberries next.
Okay, cool. I always lay out everything, that way I can easily remember what we have to do. I have my daily riches, which guides us for all the riches, so we're on day 3. So we're gonna do our Bible study, read a virtue story, listen to our folk song. We're not gonna do handicraft today, but they are doing their scripture copy work right now. And we're also doing Kind Kingdom. I don't do everything in here. I kind of just play it by ear, so we're not doing the science and history today, but we are gonna do a Shakespeare reading, and then we're behind reading about Emily Dickinson in our daily riches. So we're gonna read that. We're gonna do our Awana verses. Yeah, and then we'll do and then we'll also read our Narnia chapter as a family. Then we're gonna get our morning menus out. We're gonna talk about the date and the weather. Psalm 118:1.
Psalm 118:1.
Give
Thanks to the Lord, for he is good.
Awesome. Gwenny, 1 John 4:14.
1 John 4:14.
The Father
The Father has sent his Son
to be
to be
the Savior.
the Savior.
Awesome. So for our morning menus, I have them set up differently for each kid. My 4th grader doesn't need to trace the numbers. She just writes them in, and she's learning to write the date, the long version and the abbreviated version. My 1st grader is tracing the numbers, so they're there, and she's just circling because she's still learning calendar work.
Stack.
And then sometimes my 4-year-old does this with us, but she's not usually that interested. So we talk about the season, the weather, the moon phase, high, low. We even do the real feel, since lately it's been less than what the low is. Mood, and then what to wear. For the moon phase, we're not quite halfway yet. So for my older daughters, when we're doing like Bible, and sometimes a couple other of the readings, I have them just sit and listen. We're trying to hone their skills of the ability to pay attention without keeping their hands busy, but they still really need that a lot of the time. So if they're getting too squirrely, I'll let them get out like Play-Doh, or they can get out an activity bin, or sometimes they color. But for right now, we're trying to just focus on our Bible reading. They do listen well while they're doing stuff, depending on what it is, but we're trying to get them to a point of like not having to keep their hands busy for every single subject.
I'm done.
So today we're in Genesis 35, 9 through 12.
Mine, that's the one.
Okay, listen please. God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Paddan Aram and blessed him. Okay, next up in our daily riches, we're gonna read a story out of the Book of Virtues. The Silent Couple. This tale appears in different versions all over the world, from Sri Lanka to Scotland. This version warns us that pettiness can cause us to forget our obligations. I'm not going to share every narration, but after every reading, I will have them tell me back what we read. And so we just read The Silent Couple, which is a really funny story. And so my oldest started, and then I have her pause, and then have my 1st grader, tell me what she remembers, and then we kind of go back and forth since we're doing family readings. I am starting to do written narrations with my oldest. We're not doing one today, but sometimes she'll write out her narration. And yeah, we do that for every single reading so that they're narrating, which is a really good process for their brain and eventually leads to writing over time. Next up, we're gonna listen to our folk song, which is the Bonnie Banks of Loch Lomond. So I just have the QR codes here, so I can pull it up.
We're gonna leave it like the bubble. And from the way goes with the blue shirt.
So Oldest got out some slime.
Mama.
My first grader's coloring.
Mama, how you get that
My
out?
preschooler's just part of the chaos. A dead bee.
Oh.
And a poem for my teacher. Sometimes Uncle Emily is like that. As if she wants me to see the world, one small bee and one small poem at a time. So we're gonna read this one, Midsummer Night's Dream. This is in the Beautiful Stories for Shakespeare for Children. And the next year we're actually gonna listen to and read the plays, but for now we're just gonna do the stories. Now we're gonna read a chapter of Narnia, the Silver Chair. This is the 6th book. So I get tired when I read aloud for too long. Probably because I'm still getting up in the night 1 to 2 times with the baby. So we're actually going to listen to this. We have it on our Yodo card, but I just pull it up on my phone and we listen to it. That way also if we're like in the car and we need to listen or whatever, we can do that.
Strange trenches. There is no denying it was a beast of a day. Overhead was a sunless sky, muffled in...
Okay, so my 4th grader does the Good and Beautiful math this year. So she's going to go, there's a video lesson. She's going to go watch that while I start math and phonics with my 1st grader. My 1st grader just started book 5 of Explode the Code. So we're going to do 3 pages today.
Deep snow melted on the...
And then next we're going to do a lesson from her 1st grade math. Pick up a nickel and tell me how much it's worth. How much is a nickel worth?
5.
5. And pick up a dime and tell me how much a dime is worth. 10. Good.
There.
Okay, now we're going to add them up.
10, 20, 30.
No, 10, 20,
21, 22.
22. 22 cents. You're going to write. He's really liking learning math, aren't you?
Done.
My 4th grader is just finishing up. She did most of her work in her room. She watched the video and then she was able to do her work. Sometimes I have to help and sometimes she's really good on her own. She's finishing up her review with me. And then we're going to do her language arts. And then we'll be done with most of our homeschool. Then we're going to do an art project. Her language arts is just a review, so that's what we're going to do today. So today I thought it was really fitting to go back and do a project we didn't do in here because of the blizzard. It's snowing right now. I wouldn't say it's blizzard like yet, but we'll see. So we have Living Art Lessons by Master Books. So we're going to do this snowy painting where we're going to cut out different shapes because that was the lesson that this went with. So we're going to cut out different shapes, rectangles, triangles, I mean whatever they want to do, out of construction paper and then out of tin foil. And we're going to make us like a nighttime scene in a city. And then we're going to use cotton balls to add the snow, and then we can glue the snow on the bottom. So we're going to do that now.
Charles. I need to make my roof.
Okay, well when you are done.
Can I have a tinfoil?
Well, first we gotta do our shapes. Here's your cotton ball. Here's your paint.
I like big windows.
There's the snowflakes. It's snowing. It definitely fits what's happening outside. We are done. The younger girls made a fort. They're playing Little People in there. So they wanted to hold the baby, and she's gonna do her independent reading now. She's reading this book about Flora Ingalls Wilder. Well, it's 10:35 right now. So normally when we're done, we would go outside if possible, but with it snowing so bad and blowing, definitely don't want the baby out there. The girls may go out later, we shall see. But I'm gonna catch up on some chores and let them play, as you can probably hear. I'm gonna fold some laundry. I just moved the towels over to the dryer. And then I started meal planning yesterday. I'm gonna work on this a little bit and get this into our pickup order for Friday. Okay, just a quick muffin tin lunch today. We've got pretzels, cheese cubes, peppers, some Greek yogurt, strawberries, and granola. I usually have leftovers, so I'm having a salad, a little bit of pasta, and some leftover chicken meatballs. The girls can have some pasta too if they want. They're just not huge pasta fans. And then we usually listen to a Yodel Card audiobook during lunch.
It's called Hotel Flamingo!
It is called Hotel Flamingo.
Chapter 20.
So he's gonna do a typing lesson on typingclub.com. Time for Sully. I feel like after I lay my 4-year-old down, I look a hot mess because she loves to tickle and like play before nap. Now she's not officially napping every single day. Some days she just kind of plays in her bed. She's outgrowing, but she still has like major meltdowns if she doesn't get a nap for more than a couple days. So we'll see how it goes today. My baby's down. He's been napping really great, knock on wood, since like he was like a month old, because he just wants to lay down. He likes to be swaddled and laid down, and he usually sleeps for 2 to 3 hours in the afternoon. But he was up most of the morning, so I need to get him on like a morning nap routine, because he does get really tired, and he seems to like to nap away from us now. But anyway, so I'm gonna get some work done. I am working on finishing up my next resource for my shop on homeschoolglue.com. And so I'm gonna be taking lots of photos today. And then my 2 older girls, usually, if my oldest hasn't done her independent work, she will do that now, but she's already done with it. She practiced piano already too, I forgot to show that. And then my 1st grader needs to read either a she needs to read for like 10 to 15 minutes. It depends on what she's reading. She can read like a couple Elephant and Piggy stories or like a couple early readers, but if she's trying to read a chapter book, she may not get through a whole chapter in that much time. But practicing her reading. Other than that, they may go play outside. It's really coming down now. I don't know if they're gonna want to. It might be right in their face the whole time. Or they just play quietly during this time. They have about an hour and a half until they get a little Kindle time, as we call it, where they can do some learning games, and then they pretty much play Toca Life World, I think is what it's called, for the other portion of the time. Bryony decided to paint today. What are you gonna paint?
I'm gonna make spider art.
Yeah, it is coming down. We had no snow leading up to today. Snowman on our window. So yeah, it's definitely coming down now. Silly was looking through our picture book library here at home, and we found these. I forgot I had these. I found them a couple years ago. My parents gave them to me. These, I read them all when I was a kid. Did you guys read these Amelia books? Celia loves a few different things by American Girl, so she should read these. I loved them. Here's a little sneak peek of my next resource. That's all I'm gonna give you. Right, Rupert? It's like, what is Mom up to now? My husband never knows what he's coming home to. He thankfully just got home safely, but I need to now clean up. My 4-year-old actually napped today. I just got her up. It is almost 3. My bigger girls have just been finishing up a little bit of screen time. I got a lot of work done, but not nearly as much as I wanted to get done. It's gonna take me a while, but just chugging along. So I'm getting snack ready and then I'm gonna go feed the baby and get him up. So we're just having these like fruit bar things for snack, and we normally read at least one picture book during snack. We have been doing this March Book of Madness from Brighter Day Press, and we've read all the books except for this one. This was part of our curriculum, I think it was this year, and we've already like watched the video Read Aloud. I could not find that book anywhere. Anyway, so they were both supposed to be like biographical. So this one is about Barbara Cooney, who illustrated a lot of children's books, and so she also, I think, had recommended a picture book of Florence Nightingale, so I'm going to do that one against this one, and then we'll figure out who won. So I'm excited for that. Big girls empty the dishwasher before snack. When she was a wisp of a girl, Barbara Cooney spent her summers in Maine among colorful sprays of wildflowers. We are going to watch one of the Ice Age movies, because it's a snow day and every kid should get to watch a movie on a snow day. And my sous chef is gonna help me. Tonight we're making, Sam picked this recipe last week.
Yep.
It is chicken and biscuit dinner cobbler.
Yes.
Dinner cobbler.
Dinner gobbler.
And it uses the red, oh, you're gonna show it? Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuit mix. Does that look yummy?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good, I think.
It's very hard to believe this is going to turn into something, but we're going to bake it for about an hour. Supper is served. I would have done a salad with it if we had any salad stuff left, but I just did some sourdough, and one of our daughters asked for just regular toast, so I can't believe she doesn't love sourdough. She did for a while, now she decided she doesn't like it, but anyway, here's supper. Well, that was delicious. The girls bust their own stuff. They're a little crazy right now. We often do chores where they help, but they're just so wound up. I'm gonna go play with them a little bit, and then we're gonna read a book. Supper was delicious. We read this one at snack, and then we're gonna read this one now before bed, and then decide who the winner is. Okay, this is really funny. The top two books were Noodles on a Bicycle, which is about a man delivering soba noodles, and he stacks them on his like shoulders to deliver them, and then Home in a Lunchbox, which are both like Asian, you know, Asian characters in the book, and my girls are half Asian, so it's kind of funny. And they picked Home in a Lunchbox, which was a really cute book about a girl coming to America and how, like, there's not a lot of words in the book, but it just tells the story of how she starts sharing her lunch with her friends at the end, because home is in her lunchbox, and then they all start to share, and then she brings her friends home. It's just really sweet. So that's the one that won for us. It is about 7:30. I just laid the littler girls down for bed, and they listen to their yodos and then fall asleep. Sand's out, snow blowing for a second time. It has stopped snowing, so hopefully that'll be good. I am gonna go lay Sully down, and then I am gonna do a little reading. I'm slowly working my way through Know and Tell by Karen Glass. I just did a whole day-long narration immersion at a conference with her, which was so helpful, but I want to read up more on it, even more than I already know. And then I'm gonna try to read this. I've been starting it, like I started it like 4 times since the beginning of the year. I got it for Christmas. I have had a hard time reading at night or any part of the day because I get really tired since having the baby. So hopefully I can get a little bit of reading done and then just kind of hang out before I go to bed at 9. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. I hope you like this video, and as always, happy homeschooling. Bye guys.